The Strangers, a home intruder horror movie from 2008 that tells a story of a couple taking a relaxing weekend at a family home vacation that then proceeds to be anything but relaxing, as three masked intruders make their way in to kill this couple, with their motive being only because they were home. Now, The Strangers is a horror movie I enjoyed growing up. I've enjoyed lots of horror movies. It's something I've been introduced to ever since I was a little kid, basically. And The Strangers is one I really enjoy just because of the thought that how easily possible this could happen in real life. So easy. Now, the director has come out saying The Strangers is based on 3 real-life events. One being the Manson cult Sharon Tate murders. The second one being the Keddie Cabin Murders. And the third one being an experience the director had when he was only a child. The one we're going to be going into in this video will be the Keddie Cabin Murders. We'll be doing a deep dive into that and even some more recent news that happened more recently throughout these years. On April 12th, 1981 in Keddie, California, 4 people sleeping in a cabin were murdered one night. Inside the cabin found dead were Sue Sharp, Johnny Sharp, and Dana Wingate. All found dead by Sheila Sharp, the daughter, who spent the night before at a friend's house. Missing from the cabin was Tina Sharp, the sister of Sheila Sharp. In one of the cabin's room was also Greg Sharp, Rick Sharp, and Justin Smart, sleeping peacefully, almost as if nothing happened. No, Keddie, California back in 1981 only had a population of 66 people. Now that is one small as hell town, which is crazy. So you can already assume that basically most of the town are very good friends, or at least pretty close, you know. During the morning after the murders happened, Sheila Sharp had found blood that was all around the walls and ceilings of where the murders happened in the living room. Note, Tina Sharp was one of the family members who went missing during the murders. But then on the 3rd year anniversary of the murders, a phone call went to the police with details of Tina Sharp's remains, or a skull to be exact, only 50 miles away from Keddie. Now, the disturbing part about this phone call was when they phoned it in to the police, they phoned it in saying that they found Tina Sharp's skull, or remains, you guys want to call it, out 50 miles away from Keddie. The crazy part is, how would they know that was Tina Sharp's skull? We're talking about skull, not like a whole-on body found and you can tell maybe from pictures that this is Tina Sharp, but they had found a skull. Now, with that being said, put everything together, you guys can already tell that the ones who phoned in to the police were actually the murderers. Now, because of that, 2 instant suspects were Marty Smart and John Bobbity. Or Bobbity. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's one of those. I fucking forgot. Now, possible motives from Marty Smart was he was a husband of Marilyn Smart, who's also the parents of Justin Smart, one of the kids found unharmed sleeping at the Keddie cabin when the murders took place. They were also neighbors only a few cabins down from the Sharp family. And he was also reportedly an abusive husband. It is said that Sue Sharp was giving counseling to Marilyn Smart on her marriage. With that said, it made Marty go insane. After the murders happened, he fled to Reno, Nevada. Police then also suspected Bo as an accomplice, as he was Marty's roommate, but also an ex-con. Now, this makes more sense as one person wouldn't be able to kill all 4 people that easily, especially with kids sleeping in the room right next door. So having 2 murderers, one main one, and basically an accomplice being Bo, this would make it easier to be able to kill all 3 inside that cabin and then take the 4th one. Who knows if the 4th member, Tina, was also killed inside the cabin and then taken away, or if they had taken her away and then probably killed her somewhere out there. Now, with all that being said, at the time of this murder case had stopped all investigation then and there, even with evidence going unnoticed. Because of this, many narratives have pushed out about a possible cover-up from the police. Theories have come up saying former Sheriff Doug Thomas was really close friends with Marty Smart, and this could have been the reasoning to the cover-up. Now, it's crazy to see that basically they saw these murders happen, and the police basically said, you know what, clean everything up, our job is done here. They didn't really go looking for anything else, which is just crazy, man. That's lazy as hell, and I'm lazy, bro. Come on, man. Now, in 2013, the case was then again reopened by the new sheriff, Greg Hagwood, and investigator Mike Gamberg. With the new investigation, some new details and evidence have come up that are quite surprising. First detail here, Mike Gamberg, in a box of evidence that was thrown aside, was a letter from Marty Smart to his wife, reportedly written after the murders. The letter said, "I've paid the price for your love, and now that I've bought it with 4 people's lives, you tell me we are through. Great. What else do you want?" Alright, that first, goddamn, bro. Now, this was in fucking unopened evidence right there inside the police station or whatever it is, man. And that right there is that's already a red flag right there. Like, what in the actual fuck? Like, did the cops write this shit, or was it actually him? Like, I don't know. I guess we'll get into it. Now, second detail found, Mike found a taped version of the anonymous phone call that explained where Tina Sharp's remains were at. Now, with this said, I have to also inform that this recording was never analyzed by the police. So they have a tape recording of the phone call saying they found Tina's skull, and the police never analyzed it and tried to match it up with other people's, or should I say the suspects' voices. That's another fucking red flag, bro. Like, what is going on? This wasn't even touched. This was not even opened. Nobody had analyzed these tapes. Now that right there is already saying that the cops are basically corrupt. Or I should have said back then. They were very corrupt with this murder, and literally, it sounds like nobody really cared, to be honest. The third detail was when Gamberg was speaking to Smart's therapist from Reno, Nevada. Marty had confessed about the murders to his therapist during one of his sessions. The therapist then explains to Gamberg how surprised he was when he had told the previous investigators about his confession, and that they did not use it against Marty whatsoever. Alright, this is the third flag right here. Marty Smart's therapist. So basically, Marty Smart had confessed the murders to his therapist over in Reno, Nevada, time after running away. Now, that is crazy right there. That, I don't know about you guys, but if you guys are, putting all this together, you can easily tell Marty Smart was the murderer here in the Keddie Cabin Murders, just from this quick little evidence that was unnoticed or had never been analyzed, I guess you could say, as well, from the previous police officers and investigators and everything. Now, the fourth and last detail here is a discovery of a blue steel claw hammer used during the murders found near the cabin's river. This hammer had the exact match in appearance of one that Marty had lost. And yeah, there's another final detail right there. Out of all the weapons used during the murder were a bent steak knife, a butcher knife, and a blue claw hammer. Now, that blue claw hammer was found in 2016 at the river nearby the cabins. Basically, with all this evidence right here, I don't know, man, like, it's definitely Marty Smart. He even confessed to his therapist. What really surprises me is how the police did not catch any of this. And then thinking about it again, you can really only say it was because the police just did not care. The police were either corrupt. Everything about that town, with everyone being close to each other, was probably a thing right there. And yeah, that's crazy. That's surprising right there. Now, even with all this said, it can't be 100% clear to say it was Marty. Judging from any of you guys out there listening to this evidence, and even from my gut, I can even tell it was Marty who did it. Obviously, now the investigators and the sheriff do want more proof. They want more evidence with this. Now, the only thing about this is Marty Smart did pass away in June of 2000 due to cancer over in Portland, Oregon. His roommate, John Bowe, passed away in 1988. So both of them have passed away. There's no way of there's no I guess due date when it comes to murders and stuff and these type of cases and everything. Kind of like the way the Zodiac killer was I guess discovered recently of who he was, even though he's been dead already, which is crazy. I wonder if that is true. That's probably something we'll talk about in another video about the Zodiac killer. But yeah, I definitely believe it's Marty Smart. He's definitely the man who killed or did the Keddie Cabin murders. There's just too much evidence pointing to that, and that's really kind of what I believe right there. To solve this case, a weight would be lifted. Darkness would no longer cloud Keddie and the minds of all those involved. Gamberg and Hagwood then talk about how they do believe more people were involved with this murder. Not directly into the murders, but more as accomplices or, I guess, bystanders, you guys can say it. Anyway, there's a lot of people out there who are most likely, guilty of these murders, low-key. But really, at the end, what really gets me mad about this case is that just how corrupt the cops were, and like it's just it's surprising, really. Like, these cops are really full of shit, to be honest. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. He was up to or anything, why they were trying to hide all this. Were they really good friends with Marty Smart? Was it maybe just too much fucking paperwork or investigation that the police and investigators at Keddie were just too lazy or something? I really don't understand it. But yeah, that case right there, that's one brutal case. It just shows of how easy something similar to that can really happen in real life, you know, just out of nowhere. But yeah, rest in peace to everyone who died during the Keddie Cabin murders. Such brutal, horrific murders that happened there. And hopefully this shit does get solved soon, you know. Technically, it hasn't been solved. As I said, I really do believe Marty Smart was the one behind all this, to be honest. But yeah, hopefully we get some kind of, or get the case solved anytime soon. Anyways, that is the end of this video right here. We just talked about the Keddie Cabin murders. Something a little different. This is something I do want to do a lot more on this channel. Not only on like murder cases, but other things as well. Kind of like paranormal stuff as well. Just stuff like that. Even talk about horror movies as well. But yeah, that's something I do want to do a lot more. Something I want to get better at. You know, talking solo to the camera is just, I don't know, it's just so weird. I'm so used to doing the podcast where it's usually me and Felipe, or me and some other guest as well. But yeah, you know, expect more of these type of videos soon. Next week we'll have a podcast out. And yeah, I think that's basically it right there. Hope y'all enjoyed. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe. I need you guys to subscribe, because if you don't subscribe, then I don't know.